Hello, welcome to Spiritual Rebirth Tarot. I'm Madelyn. It's so nice to have you here. And I would like to do a pick a card reading for 2020 and 2021. And so the questions that we'll be asking today are, what lessons did we learn in 2020? What things will we need to repeat in 2021? And what new lessons will we be learning? So those are kind of the three questions that we'll be asking in the tarot. And I'd like to start with an oracle card, kind of the overall feeling for you of the archetype that you're drawn to during 2020. So, the lessons that you've learned, the way 2020 has kind of worked for you. And then in the extended, I will be looking at some of the obstacles you'll be facing in 2021, the way the angels will be helping you, advice from your higher self and things like that. So this is a reading that we have here for the collective, and you can pick one of the three piles to be more specific in your selection. So the first pile that we have is just a regular stone here from New Mexico. I love the way it looks and feels. Really has a lot of wonderful energy. And then a crystal that I was able to purchase from China. I'm not sure if that's exactly where it's from, but it's a interesting red crystal that seems to have a lot of energy and flow in it. That's number 2. And group number 3, if you're drawn to the rose quartz. And so this rose quartz has a lot of strong power toward love and those kind of things. So I like to think of the grounding here in the desert, kind of a higher dimensional wisdom here in the red crystal, and kind of your heart chakra center in the rose quartz. So take your time, meditate, ask the divine for direction on group A, B, or C. And then in the description or the comments somewhere there will be a list of the timestamps, so you can go to whichever pile you have decided to pick. And so, like I said, at the end, we'll take a look at this archetype that has come out for the entire year of 2020, and we'll be asking those 3 questions. So thank you so much for coming to this video today. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm so excited to see it growing and flourishing, and just to be a wonderful channel to give love and light to the community. And I feel so excited to have the privilege to do this. Please like the video and share with any of your friends who you feel it will be a benefit for them as well, so that we can grow in a community together. And then down below, there's my Facebook community that you can like the page, or also Instagram, Spiritual Rebirth Tarot. And so both of those, I try to put inspirational information, stuff about things that are coming up for the astrology and things like that, that might be helpful to you in your spiritual journey and as a light worker. So let's get on with the 3 piles and the discussion about this year and next year. All right. So let's start with pile A, which is the stone here from New Mexico. And the questions that we're going to be asking, I'm going to start with the traditional tarot deck, and Smith-Waite Tarot deck. And all the decks are listed down below in the description. So, before we get started, I always like to ask for direction from the divine and protection at this time. And then we use the Reiki energy. We can fill the deck with Reiki energy so that we will be guided and directed by the energies of the universe. Okay. So the first question, what lessons did you learn from 2020? The second one, what lessons will you need to repeat? And the third one is what new lessons will come to you in 2021. So for pile group A, okay, so the underneath of the deck is one of my favorite cards, the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Wands. And it's such a beautiful, fun, flowing energy. And I think that by having it come up for this reading about lessons, what it's saying is that learning that underlying of lesson of being happy anywhere, finding your happy place where you are in your own heart, is really the place to be. So for the last several months, as I've been growing, I've been really thinking about, okay, to me, it's like my happy place. I mean, this is also the marriage card, is the celebration card, something we really haven't been able to do in a significant way during 2020, coming together for celebrations. But this year has been all about learning how to find your happy place inside yourself. And so I think that's why the energies of this card is coming out is, just really, truly, and also there's a lot of fruit in here, and like kind of showing the harvest. And so now at the end of the year, we're harvesting these benefits of learning how to be happy no matter where we are. We've all lost someone, maybe a little further away than a direct relative, but someone in, multiple people in our families have passed away from the virus. I think we've all had loss in the family. We've all had maybe a loss of a job, or a loss of our children getting to go to school. There's so many ways that we can look at it as kind of a negative place to be. But finding that happiness inside our hearts, this happy place inside of us. And I love how this card has the striking yellow. The yellow is all about the solar plexus, and bringing that self-love, self-worth to life, and the power, empowering us, empowering the underdog, as well as and I think each, I was listening to Brené Brown yesterday, and she was talking about shame, and how as we go through life, women we have a lot of shame that we deal with, which has to do with, you know, saying to ourselves. Shame is about saying to yourself, I am bad, instead of guilt, I did something bad. So admitting that you did something wrong, that you should have done something different, is actually a good thing, and is being vulnerable and open. But saying that you are bad because of it is, is that shaming is very detrimental to yourself. And women have a tendency to, if we aren't perfect enough in the home, if we don't, do things, and I mean, it's been extra hard this year with just having the children home and our work at home and everything, all in this one place, and not being able to parcel out our lives. But men have to, not have any emotions. They have to provide for their families. They have a lot of, shoulda, coulda, wouldas as well on them. And then when we look at the racial tensions, the communities, like the gay and lesbian communities, and all the different people who are needing to stand up and defend themselves. And I think really the way for that to happen is for everyone to find their happy place inside themselves, and to not be looking out to the world, but first look in your own heart. Be able to balance out the shame and the guilt, and be able to release the shame and embrace the guilt, the change, the growth. And so these are all about the lessons. So the lessons that you in group 1, group A, have learned is the Hangman. And to me, this is the most beautiful card for 2020. So many of us have been like hanging and waiting to see what's going to happen, where things are going to go, and kind of in limbo. And then, I was reading about the Hangman, and he's the number 12. He's the sacrifice. He she is hanging there on purpose. They have done that themselves. And so you as a group, have been willing to hang in stillness and silence, waiting to see how this is all going to play out in your life, and knowing that things are happening underneath. When you hang upside down, it's kind of a thing that some people do to get more blood into their brains. And so when you hang upside down, you kind of get that wash of energy into your brain. And so that is also, it's kind of like you have been developing more of your, crown chakra, third eye chakra, throat chakra, and some of those upper chakras. You have been, this group, you have been developing those more this year. And that is necessary. We don't want to forget the grounding, bringing things up from the earth. And that's what this is kind of reminding us of, is, don't forget the grounding. But this year you have really learned a lot about your mind, and spent a lot of time maybe with a new perspective. So that is a little bit about the Hangman. Let's find out a little bit more about the Hangman with some more tarot clarification. So tell us more about the lessons. Just tell us more about the lessons that you learned in 2020. Tell us more about the lessons learned by this group in 2020. Wheel of Fortune. So another major arcana card. So you, not only have you kind of turned yourself upside down and seen things from a new perspective, been willing to wait on hold to see where things go. But you've also learned that things happen in divine timing, that the timing happens, and that you're comfortable with waiting for the divine timing and not like pushing ahead. And I was just thinking about the hangman being on this wheel and how, you know, if he's attached to the wheel and the wheel, you know, he starts upright, but the wheel has turned, and so now he's upside down. And then, you know, as the wheel continues to turn, he'll be upright again, and then maybe, you know, be able to come off for a while. So this is a time, this has been a year of change and transition, both in your physical world, in your 3D world, and in your spiritual, emotional, and mental type of world. And so these things have been rotating, growing, and changing in your life. So let's ask what other lessons have you learned in 2020? What lessons have you learned in 2020? Six of Wands, victory. So you have learned how to grab onto the victories, the small victories that you've had. So it may not be for some of you, it's some big victory. For many of you, it's these small little things that have happened that you have learned how to see in a positive light. So the main aspect of victory in our lives is being able to, as I was talking about, being able to find that happy place inside of you, to see that happy place and have it develop. You know, again, there's a lot of yellow in this card, you know, pointing to the solar plexus. And then also during meditation, when I go, one of the meditations that I do with the theta healing is to go out of your body in a ball of light. And I always see it as a golden ball. And I think that, you know, everyone sees the ball differently. But I think the reason for the golden ball is that gold, that the strength, the inner strength, helps us to meet the divine and meet the things that we do face in life, and to face them with victory. And so you have learned how to, you know, sometimes it's those little things, being able to surround yourself with the ball of light that the angels offer to us for a victory over, so that we're able to have that truly happiness inside ourselves, no matter what's going on in the world around us. So you have really had a great year. You have learned some really great lessons. So the lessons that you are going to be repeating have to do with the Ace of Pentacles. And so I think it's having faith that the opportunities that are being handed to you will turn out well. So you can see that there's a gate there that you need to walk through. And maybe this year, staying in the hangman energy, you didn't walk through the gate. And being able to trust and have faith that the gate is there for a reason, that you are being offered a pentacle, you know, a physical blessing on the other side, and that you don't need to be afraid. And a lot of times it's our fears that tie and bind us and keep us from walking freely through the gate. And I also get the feeling from that pentacle of that wheel. And so, I mean, it could be that the wheel is still spinning for you, and that in this coming year, it'll be able to kind of like stop its spin, stop on something, that then you'll know which gate to walk through. You'll be up in the upright position again and walk through it. So gates and opportunities have been offered to you this year, but you haven't taken the risk and taken them. And so this coming year, taking that risk, walking through the gate, is going to be really important. So what other lessons will you need to repeat? So things that have come up this year that you have not grasped. And there's no, there's no shame for that or guilt for that. It's, you know, that's the whole point, is that we'll be in a relationship that it's more of a learning relationship, and it kind of, you know, we're like, I can't do this anymore, it comes to an end. But if we haven't learned all the lessons, a similar relationship will come to us for more lessons to learn. And there's nothing bad about that. It's just things that will be kind of on repeat from last year to this coming year. Patience. So there have been times when a little bit more patience would have helped you with having the things come to fruition. So, you know, you planted the seeds, you watered them, you saw them start to grow, but then you like pulled up the plant too soon. You know, there's something to do with patience that you'll be learning this next year that will be like, oh man, that would have made a real big difference last year if I'd been just a little bit more patient. So it might be with people, it might be, excuse me. Whew. Okay, so what other lessons are going to be repeated or weren't fully learned in 2020? Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords has a very mixed energy. It can have to do with youth. It can have to do with the internet. Because of the thinking, the sword can be a message, can be a lie. If it's a person, it can be someone who lied to you. I don't know where I'm talking about all the different things. The thing that's really standing out to me right now is the message of the truth. So there may be some truths that you started to learn this year that you'll finish learning next year. That they're beginning to expand and grow. But you need to kind of grasp onto that childish energy of the new learner, you know, the new understanding, the beginner's mind, they call it. So, you know, you're looking at the things that you know and that you understand, and, you know, set those aside and look at it from a whole new perspective. So that can make a big difference for you. So I think that is what you've started to learn this year, and you'll continue growing in that this coming year. Okay, so what else? Okay, so I feel like that's good right now. What new lessons will you learn? And the Justice card came out. So it can be a Libra energy of balance, and also, you know, things having to do with the courts. So for some of you in 2020, some things will come up, you know, maybe bankruptcies, divorces, selling of homes, different things related to the court system. There could also be a rebalancing of your life, bringing back in things into your life like more time with other people, new ways to balance your life so you're not so much stuck in that hangman energy. So there'll be some real moving forward and growth. So just a second, I've got to get a drink. Okay, I'm thinking my throat chakra is reacting so much. This really may have something to do with having to tell someone the truth, and you haven't done it this year. You really need to do it next year or soon. So that may have something to do with it. Oh, for some of you. So yeah, this Libra energy. It's hard. What I'm really feeling from it is that there's going to be a rebalancing of your life, that although they call it the new normal, I mean, I think it can be, we can choose to make it as good as we want. In other words, you know, we find that happy place inside ourselves, and we can choose to make this this time as meaningful as possible. I know, like this, yesterday I was standing in line for Costco, and I think I stood there for almost an hour in the cold waiting to go in, but we had a specific Costco purchase that we wanted to make. The thing is, if we purchased it from Costco, we'd have to wait several days to get it shipped, you know, if we did it online, and we had chosen that we wanted to buy it that day. So we ended up, you know, sitting in the line in Costco. And I was like, as I was standing there, and I was, under my breath, I was singing Christmas songs. Because I guess being out in the cold with a bunch of other people reminds me of Christmas caroling. And I was trying to sing, you know, songs that everyone would know, but aren't necessarily religious, so it kind of just has a feel that no one would. And I don't even know if anyone else heard me, but I was standing there doing that. I thought, you know, when I was a teenager, we would have all, if we were all standing there waiting for something, we would all have broken out in song together, because I was in a lot of choirs, and we would have just made that happy place. And so in our new normal, how can we make those really, I was like, you know, I could stand there feeling angry the entire time and put off vibes to everyone around me of anger, or I could choose to stand there singing, you know, Christmas carols inside my mask, you know, and trying to dance around a little bit, but not enough to make people uncomfortable. And so then I'm kind of like putting off positive vibes to everyone around me in line. So I think that that's hopefully the new normal, is finding ways to make even the very difficult and frustrating parts of life more meaningful and happy. And so to me, that's what the Justice is saying, is to rebalance this new normal. So what other new lessons will you be learning in 2021? Okay, so you will be learning about the Nine of Swords. You know, some of you will be dealing with a lot of despair, depression, maybe some loss of someone around you, waking up at night with a lot of burdens on your minds. So if you wake up at night with things on your mind, what are some of the things that you can do? I mean, obviously, write those things down so you don't have to keep thinking about them. Sometimes I don't have a pen and paper there. And so maybe if you are alone, or if you are maybe headphones, getting some meditation music and thinking about your breath and the music instead of about these things. Sometimes that's hard to do. Abraham Hicks says, think of that, the happiest, the best thought you can think of, which sometimes isn't still a good thought, but it's better than the thought that you have. You know, so if you're worrying about your child and whether they're getting a good enough education, you can, if you're thinking, oh, I hope that he's learning enough, you can try to think, you know, he's learning enough today, or he's learning enough, you know, yeah, today. And so that way you're thinking positively, but you're thinking a little tiny step. So he learned enough for today. Today was still good because I didn't yell. You know, or today was, even though I did yell, you know, we had these special moments together. So think of like the one happy thought in your mind. And so when you're waking up, you know, at 3 o'clock in the morning with these thoughts rolling through your head, also a friend of mine said, don't ever fight insomnia. Instead, embrace it and use it some way to your advantage. And you'll find that you'll have less and less of it. And then also, if you can't change your thoughts, you know, pray to Michael. He really helps you at night. So you're going to be learning about how to deal with your insomnia and the thoughts that come to your head that you just don't want to be thinking and that are not helping you to manifest the kind of life that you want to live. And so that's one of the things that you're going to be learning, is how to reappropriate your thoughts to find this happy place inside yourself. And what other lessons will Group A be learning? King of Pentacles. So this is so hard to do, but if we you know, to really get a manifestation of wealth, especially physical wealth, into our lives, we really have to believe that we're already there. You are the King of Pentacles. You are, you know, sitting in that energy. And I love this card set, the Llewellyn deck, because the King of Pentacles, you know, he has a well-established tree. He has his pentacle. He's open to the world. He has a smile on his face. He's a very generous, open-hearted person. And finding that King of Pentacles inside yourself is what you're going to be learning this year. And as, you know, this coming year. And as you are learning that I am the King of Pentacles, you know, I love money, money loves me. So, you know, money is flowing into my life every day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Saying that every day, really coming to mean it. Saying your affirmations, looking in the mirror. What is it, you know, like for instance, if you want to write a book, you say to yourself every day, I am a best-selling author. And those kind of affirmations are the first step. So I am the King of Pentacles. I am a best-selling author. You know, I am a famous tarot reader. I am an excellent mom. You know, no matter how you feel, no matter where you think you are, you know, put aside your thoughts, put aside your feelings, and really grasp onto these affirmations. And as you think them, the angels will help bring that into your life. So let's say you say to yourself every day, I am an excellent mother. And you are struggling with yelling at your kids. You know, God will help you and bring into your life maybe a new child rearing class that will help you learn how to be even more of that excellent mother. So if you think, man, I wish I was better, then you'll always be in that wishing state. But you know, the lesson is I am, you know, and then fill in the blank for the thing that you want to learn or be, but do it in the present tense. You know, I am beautiful. So those are the kind of lessons that you'll be learning here in 2020. So let's take a look at this archetype for, 2021. Sorry, I'm still all mixed up. Here's the archetype that you got, Aletheia. And Aletheia is all about truth. And it's interesting how it has the rose, the black rose on the white background and the white rose on the black background. And it's kind of, I think a lot of times when we look at truth, we see truth as very black and white, but I don't feel it is. I think it's more like there's a pearl here. The truth is, you know, when that grain of sand gets inside of you, you choose to be the oyster and put the pearl essence around it until it doesn't hurt you anymore. And then you just keep creating the pearl. Or truth is reacting to, you know, if you were to listen to Abraham Hicks, which I try to do every day, you know, in order to be happy, you have to be happy. In order to have wealth, you have to be wealthy. In order to be in the truth, we need to be in alignment with our source. And when we feel true, that's the true state and true vibration that we want to be in. So to me, this has a pearl, which to me is very high vibration, because it's taking something that's very annoying and creating something beautiful out of it. It has an amethyst, which is very high vibration. It helps us to connect with, you know, our third eye, our crown chakra, and our higher selves, and what is all out there for us. And it has the rose, which is the most high vibration flower, and spending, you know, like spraying rose water is also great. Anytime I have done shaman journeys with my friend that helps and directs me at times, she always sprays rose water because that helps you to enter that higher vibration. So I think this card is saying this year you have learned more about raising your vibration, and you'll continue that on into this next year. And so I see this card as both for this year and next year, really grasping onto your truth, you know, the truth of who you are. And the thing is that the way I see things may not be the way you see things, and that's okay, because I think it's our own internal compass that guides us to the truth within ourselves. And as we see things that we need to change and grow, and the lessons we need to learn, the truth will become more and more evident to us. Okay, so I hope that this message has resonated with you. If it didn't, please go try one of the other groups, or if you feel like you'll gain some blessings from them as well. And then also, I'm going to be doing, continue on with this reading for you, Group A. And so we'll be asking the obstacles that you will face, how your angels can help you. I'll use the Angel Tarot deck, the Angel Power Tarot deck, and also the advice from your higher self and some of those things. So in the extent, so click on the link below to Vimeo. Come on over and watch the extended and learn more about 2021. Okay, so thank you for coming to this video today. Welcome, Group B. So you resonated with the red crystal. Now, I have to say, Group A was such a wonderful reading. Beautiful year, beautiful lessons, beautiful things coming up in the future. And so I'm really excited about this reading here for Group B and the Group B energies. So let's ask the Divine for guidance and direction, and to refocus the energies into those who selected this group. Okay, so I'm so excited to have you here for the energies of this reading. We do have the Oracle card that we'll be looking at the end, that will be talking about, you know, what are the energies overall for 2020 for you. Like, what is that main lesson that you have learned? And so the questions are, what lessons did you learn in 2020? So I'm going to start with the tarot deck here. Now, I like to put the Reiki energy into the deck. And it helps to guide us to the right cards. And in this reading, as we look at these energies, I like to start with this simple, direct, beautiful, you know, Smith Tarot deck first. And all the different decks that I use are listed down below in the description box. Okay, so the first question is, what lessons did you learn in 2020? The second one is, what lessons we need to repeat, or maybe that you started learning but are going to finish learning in the new year. It's not a bad thing. It's, you know, a lot of times we have like that, maybe we have a relationship with a person and we realize, you know what, this is not good for me. And we've learned a lot and we move on. And the next relationship may have some of the same lessons because we haven't learned all of them yet. And so as we learn the lessons, raise our vibrations, new things come into our life as we continue to grow on the path. So what lessons will be repeated in 2021 from 2020? Okay, and what new lessons will you learn in 2021? And another one of my favorite cards. Oh my goodness, the underneath for you guys is just, wow. Okay. So the Two of Cups is underneath. So the thing, kind of the overall general message of this reading, or the feeling of the reading. The Two of Cups comes to you and says, you know, that this year, it's all about connection and learning connection. It could be with one specific person. It could be in general, like maybe you have learned how to really connect to your children in this time when they are not able to go to school, and so you're having them at home, and you're really learning how to connect with them in the new way. Or maybe they are going to school, but you still have kind of taken that class and learned how to be a better, more positive parent. Maybe this connection has to do with a new or existing love relationship in your life, significant other, who, you know, you've learned more about how to work together and to be a team in this life that you're living. And a lot of things have changed in 2020 from 2019, both through the coronavirus, a lot of things having to do with rights, human rights, you know, whether it's the Black Lives Matter movement or the gay and lesbian community rights, any kind of things that have happened this year that have kind of come to the forefront of our minds. Maybe looking at how do all the countries of the world interact with each other in new ways. And so all of those different things can also have effect on these close-knit community and companionship and connection. And this card is saying, you know, two people or more are coming together and they're able to collaborate and work together in some way better than if they were by themselves. And I think the first lesson that you learn is how to be by yourself, that Ace of Cups, that learning to go inward, to have the self-love, to have the connection with your higher self. But at the same time, you are going to be able to connect with others and to be able to grow even stronger in those connections. So like recently I found a Facebook group that, you know, everybody coming in is a light worker, somebody who's really connected with the earth and heaven and everything in between and the universe, and really moving toward that the new earth and the new feelings in the earth. And those kind of connections are really important. So this year, that is the year of the two, and it's all about that connection. Okay, so Group B, your first card, what lessons did you learn in 2020 is Ace of Swords. And so the lessons have to do with inspiration, moving forward with an idea, maybe being offered this idea, and especially things related to your mind. So you may have been going to school and finishing up at school and now looking for that opportunity in work. You may have been just this overall sense of growth and direction, opportunity, inspiration, and I'm being drawn to his hand is shining. And I'm thinking of, you know, Reiki and how there's energy in your hand. And when you're tuned in Reiki, you can feel the energy between your hands. And so this energy is coming out. So some of you may have either received treatments or received attunements, or in some way this understanding of the energies and the chakra have been an important lesson that you have learned this year. And then let's take a look at some tarot to understand more about the lessons that you learned in 2020. Okay, so lessons learned. Okay, so it's the Temperance card. Sorry, I had to plug in my phone really quick there. Okay, so for the lessons that you are learning, that you have learned in 2020 is temperance. So in this temperance card, it's a mermaid, and she is kind of like filling a well underwater. And it's like, it's extremely mystical and impossible. A beautifully dressed mermaid filling a well underwater with a wolf with her. So it has that element of as above is below, this or that are true. They are both of this world and not of this world. They are of the ocean and of the land, the yin and the yang, the connection and the combination of all things. And so this year you have really grasped and learned a lot about mysticism and things that you can't be seen with your eyes, opening of the chakras, especially the third eye, and being able to see things in a way that maybe others haven't seen them. Visions and dreams, really filling that well of inspiration, intuition in your life. And so this year has really been powerful for you in opening up in all of your chakras and expanding into this new place and this new element. And so the temperance also is 14, which dials down to 5. So it has been a real changing year for you, changing growth, new direction, new focus. You might be even a north node. It's in the 8th house, where you need to have your whole purpose in life. In this lifetime is, delving into the unknown, into mysteries, into darkness, anywhere from death to life to rebirth and all of those kind of things. So really being able to expand that in your life. And so what other lessons have you Group B has learned in 2020? Okay, the next one is the Chariot. So those two major arcana so far. So it's been a very important year for you. The Chariot is the Cancer energy. The Temperance is the Sagittarius. The Cancer energy, home and hearth, but moving forward in that, moving and changing and growing. And there's so many different depictions of the Chariot. And I love this one in the sense that, well, there's a few things, but you notice that the horses are both the same color. They're both white. Unlike, a lot of times it's black and white. But in this case, they're both white. And there's different ways of looking at, yin and yang, light and dark. And to me, a lot of times it's once the light shines into your life, into the dark places, the darkness is gone. And you are a true worker of light, a being of light. And in that beautiful atmosphere of light, these horses come barreling into your life. Now, one is hidden in the water and one is more evident. And so, so some of the things that you have learned this year have been things that have been hidden, that have come to light. And so these dark and hidden things are exposed. So some of you have gone through the dark night of the soul, and you're coming out the other side, refreshed and new, coming into your power. And he has a lot of gold on him, like all of his, his swords and his armor. In Minecraft, you could have this gold armor and gold sword. And somebody said to me, okay, aren't they just kind of like break, and just under, even steel would be harder, yet they cost a lot more. So, but it's just kind of this feeling that things are not logical this year. They're all about intuition. So you've learned how to follow your intuition, how to follow your heart, even when things don't seem logical, because once you go there, once you find it, you find that it is the best way, and it is the way that you were supposed to go, and the things you're supposed to see. Also, when he's coming up, he has a lot of seaweed wrapped around him. So there's some things that you're having to let go. And so there's a lot of seaweed in this one as well. So he has seaweed and she has seaweed. And so there might be like, and seaweed kind of like grabs onto you and doesn't want to let you go. It's also a very nutritious food. And so it could be pointing to you've learned a lot more about nutrition this year, and those kind of things. And you also could be being, bound by some things that are related to water. So either like a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio in your life, or things related to water and liquidity that are kind of holding you and binding you, that you have learned how to be released from. So what other lessons have you learned? Because you can see he's overcome the seaweed. He's coming out the other side. Both of these energies are definitely overcomers of their situations. So what lessons, Group B, have you learned in 2020? So I love the fact that the energies of this group are completely different than the last group. I feel that we are definitely being led in a direction. So this is very, very good. So if it's not resonating for you, do go to a different group, because the thing that I have, the most important thing is learning how to follow your heart and your intuition. And that's what this is about. You have really learned how to do that. So the third card here is the Eight of Pentacles. And so you have learned how to work hard in the place that you're at and enjoy it. Or you have learned that you don't want to work where you don't want to work. So like you have been in a place, but it just hasn't been right for you. So maybe following your intuition is about following into a new work that is more meaningful and that you're a lot happier with. Because this card, especially in this deck, is all about enjoying your work, working hard but enjoying it, creating a lot. Look at all the pentacles that she has made. She has a lot. She's made a lot. And 8, is about power, entrepreneur, and those kind of elements. And so abundance. And so the 8 is saying, abundance is there for you. You've learned about true abundance in your life. You have learned the importance of enjoying your work. So whether you've had to change your work, leave your job and go to a new one, or you've learned how to be happy and successful in the work that you have, that's one of the lessons that you've learned, is the importance of your job being in your alignment. And the cool thing is that, you could be a light worker, you could have learned all of this mystery and incorporate that into the work that you're doing. So let's say you're a school teacher, you're working with children. As you're working with the children, you're holding, you're praying every day. God send Michael to come and Gabriel to whisper in the ears of my students. And having, you can imagine being a teacher and having the angels help you in that classroom. Or being, a mechanic and, having the angels help you diagnose and treat a car. Whatever you've been called to, so maybe a mechanic is a car healer. I kind of just, like I said that. But I mean, the point is that, it can be that the place you're at becomes what you're really about. It could be that you've realized that you are such an empath, like I did, that I can't work directly on people as a dentist every day anymore. And maybe at some point in my life, I'll get to the point where I'll be able to have enough blocks to where I could do that, work within someone's aura for an hour and a half. Maybe I can learn to do that in the future. I would like to, with my Reiki healing, be able to keep that separation and professionalism. But at the same time, sometimes you have to walk away from what you're doing, but you can still take that mysticism, following your intuition into what you're doing now. So those are the things that you've learned in 2020. So now what things, the next question is, what things lessons are you having to repeat in 2021? And so what comes out is the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles points to patience, accepting an opportunity, knowing that opportunities don't come quickly, but with the Knight of Pentacles, they come in full. So it might be that you've known what your opportunity is, but you're having to develop it. And it's important to develop it fully. It's like the card in the animal deck. It's the beaver, and it says, build a solid foundation. Don't use wood that is rotten. So it may take you time to find the wood that's good. We aren't in a rush and we aren't in a hurry. And I think that's the lesson that you haven't yet learned, that you are in the process of learning. That last year some things came to you, but you weren't able to learn that lesson as well as you needed to, which is this sense of patience and slowness. I think, to me, one of the hardest things to deal with is when I'm around people who I feel are just slow. Because I am very efficient, very bright, very, very direct at times, and yet most of the time I want to please everyone. And so as a Gemini, I hate it when people do things so slowly. And to learn how to let my children wash the dishes and it's going to take twice as long, and there's going to be water all over the place, but to be patient with that. And so I think those are the lessons that you have started to learn, or you have been pushed toward you during this year of 2020, but you need to continue those lessons in the new year, is this concept of how do you find the patience for these things, whether it's patience for other people, patience for yourself, knowing what am I supposed to do with my life, where am I supposed to be, and those kind of things. Okay, so what other lessons have you not learned well enough? I know that's one that I haven't. I will keep getting bombarded with. So the Knight of Pentacles. So what other lessons have you maybe started learning in 2020, but you're going to be finishing up in 2021? You're going to have more opportunities. What have you not fully learned? Magician. So that, so you've started this road of, you've learned about intuition, but not enough about manifestation. And so I think, you know, having that magical thinking again, it's kind of like that, oh, everything's going to be perfect instantly. Or maybe also the holding, you know, the ego. So the magician also, for some reason, kind of the part of the card where it's the ego kind of came to me. So, you know, letting go of the ego to allow the true higher self to come in with your intuition. And also really believing that you do have all the tools. So you started to see that you have all the tools for success, but you haven't really grasped that belief that you need to manifest those things into your life. And so in order to be the magician and to manifest the good things into your life, you have to know that you have all the elements. You have the cup, you have the sword, you have the fire, and you have the earth. Everything that you need, the spirit, to really bring all of those together and bring things to life. And so that's a lesson that you'll be continuing to learn, and that you haven't learned as well as you could have during this year. And I'm also drawn to the trees, and all the trees are at different levels. Some of the trees are super, super big and old. Some have just started growing. They're still a little flimsy. Or it could be that certain trees grew faster and they became strong, and the other trees didn't become as strong. And so it might be something about feeling like you're inadequate, or that, you know, comparing yourselves to those around you. To learn to see yourself as an individual, who you really are, and that you aren't the spindly tree. You're part of the forest, and each part of the forest is just as important as the other. To set aside your ego of I have to be the best, and instead realize, no, the universe is abundant for all of us, and all of us have our place and time. So what other lessons have you not fully learned, or do you need to repeat in 2021? Repeat. Happiness, the sun. So I'm especially drawn to the red. So maybe also grounding, and how grounding will help you to reach that happiness. And so by, you know, connecting with Mother Earth, realizing that the world is abundant and full and has everything that you need, will help you to have the happiness to be able to manifest into your life what you really want. So you have, you know, from the first card, you've been able to grow a lot of your intuition, your growth, your mysticism, your understanding of your life path, moving into a better job situation, and to bring all of those things together in the fullest way next year. Learning how to be happy under any circumstances. And I find that Uriel is very helpful for that. You know, you pray to God to ask Uriel to come and fill your heart with happiness, even on a bad day. So when I'm especially feeling down or frustrated, or things are not working out, I just pray and I ask, you know, can you please send Uriel to come and help me feel happy no matter what? And then I just let go, and I don't try to feel happy, and I don't try to feel sad. And it's like over the next few minutes, he just helps me to think of those things to be grateful for, and to bring my spirit up and to be more happy. And so, you know, ask for the help, and then just let go and let it happen. And I was really struggling because I was told, okay, happiness is a choice. So you need to just choose to be happy. And I'm like, okay, how do I do that? And so I asked the one tarot deck, I said, how do I be happy? And I literally got the Sun card, you know, and it was Uriel. And it said, Uriel is the archangel known for brilliant ideas that can come in golden flashes of light. He is also associated with emotional healing and understanding. Call upon Archangel Uriel whenever you're searching for a sunny disposition that brings with it success and exuberance. And so I was like, oh my goodness, this is perfect. So when I'm feeling down, just don't try to change. Instead, ask Uriel to come and give you that sunny disposition. Then let go and let it happen. Okay, so that is the Sun card. So you started to learn that lesson. You'll be on repeat, and this is the thing you'll be learning in 2021. So what new lessons will be coming up for you in 2021? What new lessons will you be drawn to? And remember that these people, these connections that you have will help you. This is a Leo card, and so is the Sun card, the Leo card. So it has the lion on it. So these connections that you have been learning about this year and next year will help you to remember to, call upon Uriel and those things. Maybe he's one of the connections that you will have. Okay, so the card that I pulled, the Seven of Wands. So the lessons that you will be learning are courage and strength and conflict. So in any of the conflicts you may have in the next year, you will have the strength and courage to fight and be victorious. And you'll be learning the lessons of how to fight well. And, not just get angry and upset, but really to approach it with the logic. So you've learned this last year about intuition, following your heart. And this year you'll be learning more about logic and control and how to bring those into your life. Okay, so what other lessons about new lessons in 2021? The Two of Cups again. Oh my, this is my favorite Two of Cups card because they're holding each other. It's like in a wedding, they're offering each other a cup and they're in a briar patch. And if either one of them lets go, they're going to fall into the briars and get hurt. And so this energy is that not only do you have a companion, but you have a companion that guards and protects you. And what I'm learning is that, your higher self, your inner being is that first person that's there for you, that helps you. And once you learn that, you'll be able to offer that to others. But you can't be that cupbearer for somebody else if you haven't been for yourself. If the cup isn't full, you can't offer the cup to someone if it's empty. If you don't have the strength, you can't help hold them up. And this is not a one-way street. It's not, her holding him up. It's the two of them holding each other together. So it's finding, during this year, you will find this connection that's at your vibrational level. You have to pull yourself to that level first. And the angels will help you because you see the wings on here. So the angels will come, they will help you to create that vibration that you need. And so really in the end, the thing that's holding them up, see, is that energy between them and the angels. And, holding them in that place. So what other lessons? That's great that you had The Two of Cups come up twice in the reading. It's kind of like a 22. Can be an important number for you. Lessons, new lessons in 2021. Queen of Swords. This is the, you know, an air energy. And she has a lot of truth. She doesn't always say it in a nice way. So you'll be learning how to speak your truth, opening your throat chakra. And part of speaking your truth is hearing and listening to others. So communication is not just about talking, it's also about listening. And you know, when I'm doing a reading like this, I like you to be able to see the card, because you may see things in there that are meaningful to you. And I think that's what the Queen of Swords is coming and telling you you're going to learn. Not only have you learned how to listen to your intuition and follow your intuition, but you'll realize that your intuition is going to guide you into the truth. And the truth for each of us is really when we're in alignment with the source, and we're in happiness and joy with the source. The truth is being exhibited in our lives. So I want to look at the energies of the archetype card that we pulled, and it's the Village. That's interesting. 41. 5. So the energies for this year, you know, 2020 has been all about change for you. The 5, 41, which is 4 plus 1 is 5. So let me see. The card that came up for Group A, I had read it so many times I could just talk about it. The Village, I don't think I've ever pulled before. It's fascinating to me how there's a fiery sky with a mountain. It's like there's a forest fire on the other side of the mountain that you can see, but you're down and protected in your village, in your place, in your happy place, in that circle. The hometown, the family, the tribe. Yeah, you're protected in the tribe from all these things that are buffeting you. And this year we had the fires, tons and tons of forest fires. At least my friends were very much affected by the fires. You know, the fires were coming, but they're protected in their tribe. Kind of like it looks to me like, you know, when you're in a forest, the floor is covered with needles, and you're underneath that. Like where I grew up, there's all the fir trees, and when they drop their needles, and they create this big bed underneath them of needles, and it's like that's what you're hiding under. But they could totally catch fire. It's kind of, I don't know, catch-22. You're hidden, but you're also under duress if that particular forest caught fire. Returning to the village is as important as leaving it. This can be thought of as a completion or an integration of what you've learned out in the world. Okay, so for some people, and they talk about the people whose North Node is in the 3rd house, and it has to do with siblings and family, local community, and communication. And so that's where my North Node is, in the 3rd house. And so that's why, you know, being a Gemini, which is the Gemini house, I really love the communication part. But the part that I struggle with more, or is harder to align with, is the local community, because I have a tendency to want to do the opposite, the 8th house, you know, travel the world. And so constantly changing my locations, because obviously life is going to be better if I just move. And so really finding that local community. And they talk about a lot of people in the 3rd house actually move back home at some point. The 2nd halves of their lives, they move to the original thing, to home. I think for me, it's going to be returning to what I was doing when I was 20, even more than the place. But it's going out to the world and finding yourself, and then coming back to home and being in home. And the village moves with you, as it is more of a mindset than a physical place. That's what I just said. So coming back to that mindset. And the fascinating thing is that I'm not going back to being a kind of a religious nut in a small church. It's a different mindset, a different aspect to the mindset. But it's going back, part of it's going back to the person that I was before my sister died. And when she died when I was 21. And so it's kind of like going back to see, you know, what was my mindset before that? How was my mind kind of like cut open, like the 3 of Swords at that time, and sent in new directions? And now I'm being brought back very dramatically, actually. And that's kind of a personal thing. On a more global thing with Group B, the village is calling you back. And so this year, yeah, you've been brought back to the village. You've had many people, you've had to stay home, you've had to quarantine, you have had to think about your childhood, your past, your present, the present moment, and really find your tribe and find your people. So the village presents us with a conundrum. On one hand, it's the place that feels most like home, the place to which you can always return, so being at home. Nostalgia and comfort draw us back. On the other hand, it's the very place that you must leave in order to grow. The village is an unspoken boundary exists, one most villagers do not want to cross, though some support your leaving. Still, you hear whispers of doubt as you venture beyond its borders. So for some of you, you have been leaving the village this year, and you've heard the whispers, you know, why are you doing this? You know, it probably has nothing to do with wearing a mask or not wearing a mask in the COVID. It probably has to do with more so in your heart that you've been on this path, you've been on this journey, which has led you away from a lot of those people who were in your original village, and be able to know who you are in this journey. The village is present anytime we feel restricted by a certain group, community, family, place, or ideology. I think everyone's felt restricted this year. It may have served us in the past, yet staying within its parameters will never satiate our thirst for life. Thank the village for all it's provided, knowing that you will someday return. For now, the world awaits. Well, I hope that this message has resonated with you in Group B. If it hasn't, feel free to watch some of the other videos. And also, we'll continue on this reading into the extended, where we'll take a look at the obstacles you will face, the help that you're going to be receiving from some of the archangels. And we'll use the deck that actually talks about the archangels and the advice from your higher self. So we'll continue on this reading, the year talking about 2021, and some of these obstacles you'll face and help you'll receive. So thank you so much for coming to the reading. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share it with your friends who you feel will be benefited in any way that are interested in this kind of a message. And come on over to the extended. The link is below in the description. Welcome, Group C. You chose the rose quartz for this reading, and so welcome to the reading. This reading is about 2020 and 2021, and the last two ended up being like 40 minutes long. So I guess it's kind of comprehensive, but that's okay. So I would like to start. So we, at the end, we have the card, you know, this card that we'll take a look at for the archetype energies for the year. So we'll start by asking the 3 questions. What lessons did you learn? What things will be on repeat? And what new lessons will you learn? My one candle's going crazy. Let me turn it off. Okay, so let's take a look here. We'll ask for guidance. Okay, lessons you learned. What lessons are going to be repeated or learned better? Things you started learning that you didn't finish learning. And what new lessons will you learn in 2021? Okay, so the underneath of the deck is the 4 of Cups. And so you can look at this different ways, but, you know, there's so much green. And so this person has learned a lot about the heart chakra and opening the heart and really having those heart energies opened. So during this, Group C, the people who picked this, you have really been learning this year a lot about your heart chakra, and because of that, this new love is being offered to you, and so you're getting this. You know, it could be that during the year the new love has been given to you, and that you're receiving it and walking into the energies. Or that this coming year that's going to be happening because of your work on the heart chakra. And spending time in meditation on the colors is really helpful. So sometimes what I'll do is get in a hot bath and just kind of as I'm laying there soaking in the salt water, and turn on some meditation music and just spend time thinking about each one of the colors surrounding me, kind of in the water. And, you know, the color red, think of the color red. What does the color red feel like? And you can maybe think the energies of the center of the earth, and, you know, it's heat that doesn't burn you. It's, you know, etc. So you go through the energies of the different colors. And so this one especially, I'm being pulled to the color green, that you have really spent time with your heart chakra during this year, and it's something important with the year 2020. So the lessons that you have learned, we'll start with the 10 of Cups. So what could have you a better card for the lessons you've learned this year? So you've learned how to be happy even in a pandemic. And so if you're not resonating with them, you know, or maybe you still have 3 weeks of 2020 left. But the lessons that you have learned, truly being happy in your situation, having that, you know, the love and the joy of the family, the children around you, the love and the happiness flowing into your life. And so, you know, in some ways you have learned the lessons of being able to open your heart and accept that love and to feel that love in a way that you haven't felt it before. And let's take a look at also some of the tarot here for this energy. So the first deck that I use is the regular Smith Tarot, and then this one is the Llewellyn deck. And so you can find all the decks that I use listed below in the description. So if you're interested in any of them that we're using today, or look at some of the others, some of the ones that I especially enjoy and recommend. Okay, so what lessons did you learn in 2020? Okay, so the first one is the Two of Wands. So in the Two of Wands, in this card, she's sitting here looking kind of at a crystal ball, at a golden globe, at a, maybe you spend a lot of time watching TV, you know, really just looking into the energies of happiness and the solar plexus. There's a lot of sun, and then these two wands, they're you know, they're actually alive. You can see them sprouting. You know, all of a sudden I just thought of, in the Bible, there's the story of Moses, and he has his staff, and there's one time where his staff just comes to life and starts growing, even though it's this old dead twig. And, you know, it kind of is one of the miracles that happens. And so it may be that you have learned more about miracles and how miracles can happen in your life. And, you know, miracles and magic, it's kind of like over time, they become, you know, scientific facts. And as we go into December 2020, and we have the Grand Conjunction and the start of the Age of Aquarius, right on the same day as the winter solstice and all of that. I think that the whole world is going to have a bigger understanding of what magic really is, and how it really comes about in our lives. And so here, you know, this person, you know, are looking into this year, 2020, and instead of only seeing the bad, you saw the good as well. You brought the love to life. You brought things together in your life. You brought the wands to life in your life, and the happiness and the joy that you find in the opening of the solar plexus. So far I'm getting a theme. There's a rainbow in here, a rainbow of color. I'm getting a theme that you have spent a lot of time on the opening the chakra this year, understanding the chakra, the energy sources in the body, and how that will affect you. So 2020 has been really strong for that. So what lessons have you learned in 2020? Okay, Seven of Cups. So I've started to change my feelings on this card. So many times I saw this card and I just saw it as, oh, there's so many choices and I can't decide what to pick. Let's say I want to write a book. Do I want to write a book on love, peace, mystery, that just makes me a lot of money? You know, all these cups are filled with different things. You know, she's sitting here trying to decide, you know, which one she wants to pick in life. And so, you know, so many times I've looked at this card just as, okay, yeah, there's lots of opportunities, but I'm kind of tired of opportunities. I just want things to be clear for me in my life. But more recently, as I've been reading this book, Angels of Abundance, and the idea of abundance being brought into your life through these angels working with you. I've talked a lot about visualization, had a whole chapter on visualization. And so if you start to visualize in every detail something, you will do better. And then at the same time, things always work out. At the same time I was reading this book, still reading both books actually, Cybernetics, and it talks about changing your mind. And one of the main techniques that they use for success is imagining and visualizing. And so both of them were talking about the same thing at the same time. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, that's what she's doing. She's visualizing. So I'm not going to go into a big discussion on it, but take some time to learn more about visualization. And she's visualizing these things in enough detail that they're going to come into her life. This love, this abundance, this peace, this mystery, this victory, all being, visualized and brought into her life. And so those are some of the things that you have hopefully learned this year, is more about how to visualize this. And so more happiness has come into your life. Okay, so the next question is, what lessons will you repeat in 2021? So, we don't have to shame ourselves or think bad things because we have to repeat lessons. So often, something's brought into our life, we learn about half the lesson, but something very similar comes back in order for us to learn the lesson again, like maybe another relationship that's the same, things like that. So in this case, it's the Hanged Man. And so, the Hanged Man is all about finding a new perspective, maybe hanging yourself out to dry, becoming the traitor and the martyr and the sacrifice in order for the right thing to happen. And so in some ways, you have changed your perspective and had a new way of looking things this year, but you'll need to continue that into the coming year. You will, continue growing and changing. He's kind of allowing that, stuff to flow into his head, and that kind of thing. And then, what other things are going to be on repeat for you this year, going into 2021? Okay, the Page of Cups. So it could be that, you've been given some, some options for maybe somebody wanting to put it forth romantic efforts and you rejected them because maybe you don't feel confident enough about it, or you feel like it's not the right time or the right person, and they may be coming back again with another romantic offer. It might be that some relationship that you ended this year, you learned most lessons, but not all the lessons, and so you'll have a similar relationship next year to do that. It could be that there are things that you've started to, you kind of are at the Page of Cups level of understanding your emotions, so you're going to need to move into the King of Cups, understanding of how to express your emotions. So this year has been about opening your heart chakra. So it could be that this cup is still coming, that this, you've opened the heart, but the new relationship, the new direction is, a new connection is still coming to you this year. Okay, and the Ace of Cups. So yeah, I really feel that you've had you've been given an offer of love, and you haven't been able to accept it, or something new is, even in career is, starting to talk to the back of your mind, but you're still needing to accept that and move forward in that. Okay, so the next question is, what new lessons will you be faced with, or that you'll be learning in the new year? So what new directions, new focus, new questions, new lessons to learn? Well, I pull this card first. The first one is, it's a 7 again. So group B, it was a 7, a different 7, but it's a 7. This one again is a 7 of Swords. So you are going to be learning something about, winning victories. And you can see all the yellow again in this really strong solar plexus, having confidence, power, self-power, self-expression. And so, winning victories over understanding yourself and the strength of yourself and who you really are as a person. And so in this coming year, you will be victorious. You may not totally feel that way during the year. You might still feel like you have, a lot to learn, because I think the more we learn, the more we feel that way. But as you, at the same time, a lot of growth in, fighting the good fight and being the person that you want to be will happen during this next year. And then if we look at, the underneath is the 2 of Cups. And beautiful connections. I really think that somebody's knocking at your door. There's a love life knocking at your door. And that makes sense, because you have learned this. You've learned that ultimate happiness this year. And as you're, it may be the next couple of weeks, but you are learning this ultimate happiness this year, and there's somebody knocking on your door with a lot of love to give, because you deserve it, and you've worked hard at finding yourself and loving yourself and opening your heart chakra. What lessons will you be learning this coming year? So you'll be learning how to relax and how to meditate, how to really focus inward, allow that inner healing to happen. Also, become the sacrifice and the thing that others need. And by really opening yourself up, you'll be able to be what the world needs you to be. So that quiet contemplation, relaxation, and meditation will help you to open up and expand and be what the world needs as well. And then the what lessons will you learn in 2021? Knight of Wands. This came up a lot in the reading for Group B, so there may be some connection there. So in this coming year, you will have the opportunity to grab hold of some of the creative energies that have been coming your way, that have been percolating and growing during this year. You'll have the opportunity to really grab, reach forward, run toward some of those new things, those new creative ideas, energies, and opportunities that you have. In a relationship setting, it's a lot of passion and love and power in the relationship. So that may also be taking effect in your life. So let's take a look at the card here, the Empty Room. So there's so many possibilities for the future. it's not really empty. There's a lot of stars and there's a lot of energy. And like I said, in a lot of ways, the empty room is one of the most unempty places. So like I was talking before, I was like learning how to really like meditate and to empty yourself so fully that you can connect with the divine. And so this year and next year, you know, that is your archetype, is really being able to grab onto that that space between yesterday and tomorrow. Oh, interesting. It's 52, and the last one was like 51. So it's like only one number different. Even though I like totally pulled them all separately. And they're not in order. Okay, the vortex, the abyss, and the nothing. So the vortex, you know, is where we, you know, like Abraham Hicks talks about, you know, being in line with a vortex and be able to manifest all these things into your life. And that really goes along with that 10 of Cups energy. You know, a day of silence is a surefire way to actually get the power of the empty room. And so spending that time in quiet contemplation, in meditation, in silence. The archetype of the empty room is also portrayed as the hungry ghost, always feeding and never satisfied. So the two sides to it is being fully satisfied in the emptiness, and the other side to it is never being satisfied even in the total fullness. The empty room haunts us all. It is the universal and all too frequent feeling of lack, of wanting, of craving to fill ourselves with something, anything. We too often attempt to remedy the discomfort of the empty room by any means necessary, leading us to a culture of more. Ironically, the empty room is filled to the brim with potential. So the vortex, all that potential is there. But yet if we're still looking at and longing for just the things, you know, oh, I wish I had more. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. It won't bring us to the state of vibration where all these things from the vortex is full and will be coming to us. The empty room is filled to the brim with a potential, yet we perceive it as not enough. This card is a cry for patience, for sitting within the barren walls of not knowing, for awaiting true vision and purpose, before touching to what we should do next, to save our outward appearance. Be with the nothingness, be with the impatience. The empty room has immense power. Let others wonder what you are doing. If you can settle into the magic of emptiness, you will soon hear its whispers of wisdom. So sometimes being a little mysterious makes people a little more interested. They're like, what are they doing? Here, thinking, I'm just sitting here not knowing what I'm doing yet. And embrace that. So if this year or the beginning of next year, you know, just be able to embrace the nothingness, the not knowing, the lack, and that it's okay, and that it's teaching you a lesson, that you're going through the dark night of the soul into a new outcome. Okay, I hope that this reading resonated with you, that it was beneficial for you. If it didn't, or you want more, we do have the other two readings, the Group A and Group B. Thank you, Group C, for coming over here. Please subscribe to my channel. Share the video with your friends that you think might be interested. And like it for me, that'd be great. So happy to have this channel and the opportunity to share love and light to the world. And we'll continue on this reading about 2021 in the Vimeo Extended. So the link is below that you can click on to go to that. And then also, at that extended, we'll be talking about the obstacles you'll be facing in 2021, how your angels will be helping you. I use the angel deck to kind of really look at which angel is going to help us the most with these obstacles and the help that they're going to be giving us. And then advice from our higher self, and what the higher self is wanting to tell us that we can do in this coming year. So come on over to the extended, the link is below, and we'll talk to you later.